I thank the chairman for yielding to me, and I rise in strong support of H.R. 5851. A couple of speakers before me, the gentleman from Georgia on the other side of the aisle, kept repeating the mantra of never let a crisis go to waste. And he was deriding this side because apparently he thinks that we should always forget a crisis and we should not take into account what we've learned because of the crisis. You know, it's because of this crisis that we really need to redouble our efforts to protect people who live in the Gulf, all around the Gulf of Mexico, to protect the workers, to protect the public from companies that really couldn't care less about them. And this Whistleblower Protection Act is going to do exactly that. Now, I'm on the Energy and Commerce Committee. I sat through every hearing that we had with oil officials and with the BP officials. And I'll tell you the truth, it was insulting the way Mr. Haywood came and wouldn't tell us anything because he was obviously told by his lawyers not to tell us, and the arrogance dripping from his mouth where he just seemed to not care at all about the havoc that BP had put forward in the Gulf, and even with the people who were killed. So today, we are passing this Whistleblower Protection Act, which will protect, as Mr. Markey said, people who come forward and say, hey, you know what? What's going on isn't right, and it needs to stop, and I don't want my job to be in jeopardy because I'm telling the truth. We're also going to vote on the CLEAR Act as well. And this, my colleagues, I want to remind my colleagues that we desperately also need comprehensive clean energy and climate legislation after this. The BP explosion in the Gulf has been disastrous. It's led to 11 deaths, devastated the Gulf economy, and just polluted the environment. We heard testimony in the Energy and Commerce Committee from Tony Hayward. And we asked him serious questions, and he refused to answer our questions. BP has not been truthful at all about what has been happening in the Gulf from the very beginning. They've used and abused the system, and we cannot allow that. We have to work to ensure that oil companies like BP are not permitted to treat the environment as their own private playground or put at risk the livelihoods of thousands upon thousands of hardworking Americans. And I want to be perfectly clear here. This is BP's spill, and BP should pay for it. There should be no taxpayer money spent on cleanup. But BP had the gall to announce this week that they're looking to cut their losses at the expense of the American people by claiming tax benefits for costs associated with this oil spill. This is shameful, and that's wrong, and it ought to be stopped. And that's why today I'm introducing the Denial of Tax Benefits to Offending Oil Polluters Act of 2010. This legislation would prohibit oil polluters from receiving tax benefits for costs associated with an oil spill. So I look forward to passing this legislation and today, H.R. 5851, and debating my bill in the future to ensure that we hold bad actors like BP accountable for their irresponsible decisions and their devastating actions. And I thank the chairman for his strong leadership in this regard.
The gentleman's time.